Hello and welcome to Tavern Chat, the more or less daily yapping of your favorite bartender. Today, it's Kickstarter that's on my mind. Now, some of you who have not been following closely the last couple of years might not remember the time when Kickstarter was pretty much like an old West land grab. Everybody had ideas, and all you needed was an idea, and you could strike it rich. So we got things like Far West, right? Raised about 50K. Here we are nearly 10 years later, got nothing to show for it because Gareth the Hut couldn't decide again. Well, the excuse now is he went from using a D20 system to using OpenD6. And I think, personally, I don't have any inside knowledge, but my strong suspicion is it was like, I got to change the rule system I'm using to keep on laying out some line before I'm horrendously called on my bullshit. We also had the Wandering Wizard, right? Mike Nystuen, who had all these ideas of a dwarven RPG and what was it, the Endless Dungeons and all this stuff. He had great ideas. Far West is a great idea. It shouldn't take you 10 years to fucking complete your great idea. But why is it taking so long for Gareth? Because he had nothing written. Why did Mr. Nystuen, who I will give credit, fell on his sword and said, only an idiot would ever go into business with me again, and only an idiot would ever give me money again. Mike had great ideas. Ideas sold. One that went under probably many radars was the Quantum RPG. Quantum RPG was from Mr. Frost, who apparently did some Pathfinder work and had a little bit of a following and decided, I'm going to do this Quantum RPG. And again, had these ideas for what this RPG should be and had nothing written. So what is this? Why am I bringing this up? Because I'm looking at an RPG which recently launched, still has 25 days to go, had a funding goal of 50,000, and it's knocking on 200K with 25 days to go. It's got 194,000. Into the Motherlands, an original Afro-futurist tabletop RPG. So, it is a project we love on Kickstarter. Now, by the way, we all know that that doesn't really mean too much since they Kickstarter staff puts it on their own projects, right? We don't know about that fiasco. So, what do we know about Tanya DePass? So, she has one other Kickstarter. A lot of people love pins, right? They also love Twitch emotes. So, let's combine them into one awesome package. So, she had back in 2019, well, actually, probably before that, last update is 2019. Rewards were, all right, in 2019. This $5,000 goal, she raised just short of 7,600 for pins. Okay, that's great. 194 backers. So what brought her from 194 backers to 2,600 backers? Well, she did something wise. All right, and it's not just somebody I know in the comments is going to go, "Whoa, it's obviously an SJW project." Listen, actually, the setting looks pretty interesting. What I'm saying, what they did wise was they actually got a following before doing this Kickstarter. They've been running the setting, the Motherlands, they've been running the setting as a YouTube live play type of deal. So what does that mean? It means that they got a following, so people are interested in their setting. So if it's written, right, if they've been running it for over a year, apparently, obviously this game is written. We must be really far along. So then why are we looking at pledges that won't be fulfilled until at the earliest August 2022? What, looking at a year and 3 months, year and 4 months. And it's interesting. They're showing character, cultures, professions. So it looks like they've got ideas. They got mock-up covers. That's great. So stretch goals already figured out. So what's missing? I'll tell you what's missing. And this is where I start putting the warning flag up. Goals and costs. Making an RPG is a complex and multifaceted project. Coordinating writers, artists, cartographers, and designers is a full-time job. The 50,000 funding goal is the minimum amount required to create a quality project we'll all be proud of. That said, whatever we generate past that goal will enable us to create a richer, fuller final product. Okay, fair enough. Also, and now this is where the warning signs go up. The amount raised will determine if we license an existing TTRPG's mechanics or create something all new and uniquely Motherlands. So, we don't have a game system attached to this. Now, my understanding from what I've read on, believe it or not, I'm gonna throw it where it belongs, EndWorld. I find myself going there almost on a daily basis to read something or other, which says a lot about EndWorld at this point. It's certainly come back from the Netherlands. I don't mean Holland in that area, but they don't have a system. Now, again, they've been apparently using Cortex Prime or Plus, the Cortex latest version on their live plays. But they weren't ready to license it or have another system. See, that scares me as a potential backer. And again, yes, this is obviously being marketed to some extent to say, hey, this project is being done by people of color, and that's fine. But it looks like it's a decent setting beyond that marketing speak, but then you don't have a system. You don't have a system locked down. That gets me nervous because that reminds me of Gareth Garca, who, well, he had a system and then didn't have a system. It reminds me of Mike Nystuen, who said this great idea about this dwarven RPG and didn't have a system. All right? It really is not a good sign when you kickstart and you don't know what rules you're going to use. So I wish them a lot of luck. But now this makes me think they are, again, nearly at $200,000, $194 and change. 25 days to go. So realistically, we're going to look at $500,000 on this Kickstarter for someone who was only kickstarted once prior to this and raised, I don't know, 7,000 and change, right? Now they're going to have probably close to $500,000 for this RPG. And people are investing in it, right? Because remember, this isn't a pre-order. You're investing in this dream, and they don't even know what game system they're going to use. And maybe you're somebody who has you greatly like the Cortex system, right? And you don't like, I don't know, OpenD6, or you don't want to experiment with their home system. So you're like, well, if they're going to use Cortex, that's great. I'm comfortable with that. And they're telling you, we don't know what we're going to use, right? So how does that work? And if they've been play testing it for the last year or so using Cortex, wouldn't you want to use Cortex? Again, these are to me warning signs. I'm not saying it won't be a great project, and the setting itself might be very well done. It looks like it's going to be a well done setting, but to be this far along, not being able to say what system you're going to use, have raised nearly $200,000. This is only your second Kickstarter. Again, would make me nervous as a potential backer. And I I hate to say it, I'm gun shy these days. Especially when there's that much money in a project. Small project, you're like, how much can I screw it up? Well, you know what? With big money comes big responsibility, and there can certainly be a screw up. So this is Into the Motherlands. You can look it up on Kickstarter. I advise you do your own due diligence. Maybe over the next week or two, maybe they'll say, hey, this is the system that we are going to license, or this is the system we're going to use. There's a number of open systems out there that they can use. So I don't know how much it would cost to license Cortex. I can't see it being that much if Cortex is open to licensing, and I'm assuming it is. So, folks, just as a small note, apparently last week, Tavern Chat hit its 3rd year anniversary. I wasn't really focused on that because a year ago, on my 2nd anniversary for that would have been, I was hospitalized. And I was just thinking about my hospitalization from this year. So it's kind of a distraction. So 3 years, again, because of all of you. I really do appreciate that. I wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for the viewers and the listeners here on the YouTube side and on the Anchor side, and those that read 10 Cars Tavern at 10carstavern.com. Really, I truly appreciate this. Another side note, Doug Rea had surgery today. I just asked for prayers. Doug's been fighting cancer for going on 5 years now. So he could use your prayers. Please throw your prayers, your good thoughts in the direction of Doug. I should have hopefully more news tomorrow when I live stream with Bad Mike. For those who don't know, Doug Rea is the main man behind North Texas RPG Con. It's because of his force of will that we have this con every year. So my prayers go out to Doug and his family, his friends. Again, hopefully an update tomorrow night. Our live stream is at 8 p.m. I don't know if we have a guest or not. We may not. If we don't, Mike and I can do it. Next week, we'll be live at North Texas, and that may involve alcohol drinking and random guests. Should be a lot of fun. Folks, I am not a medical professional. I make no claims to be so. I am personally vaccinated against COVID. You know your situation. Right? I'm not giving anybody advice as to what to do. Vaccinate or not, isolate or not, that's all. If you're listening to this, you're an adult, unless you're my niece, but Shannon's smart enough to listen to her parents. But I will say, use your common sense. You can't help others if you yourself are sick. So, please, use your common sense to keep yourself, your loved ones, your friends, your family healthy and safe. Be safe, be well, God bless. Roll those dice. And knocking on wood, I'll be back again tomorrow with Bad Mike. All right, folks. Laters.